entire notebook if you want to, so I picked a new one. So what we're doing now is we have sort of a company that's building systems for mobile payment. And so our kind of view of it is that it's like the gold rush. So basically you're going to have a lot of people making mobile payment apps, and like 3 of them are actually going to make money in the long term, because that's just kind of how these things work. So what we want to do is build systems that work for all of them and make money that way instead of getting involved in that.
Yeah.
So we kind of have 3 potential products we're working on. 2 of these are pretty easy to implement because there are a ton of SDKs sort of around the idea. And one of them, we actually would need a lot of contacts, so we're doing the first 2 first, and then we're going to try to leverage that into the second, because people are not going to let us do what we want to do if they don't know us. So the first 2 ideas, one is, it's actually really simple. You make a system that lets you use mobile payment applications online. So it's like, have you guys heard of Level Up?
Yeah.
So you like have a QR or a scan code. So our idea is we basically build a JavaScript application that people can sort of put into their websites in the payments thing. So it uses the webcam, and you just hold the code up to the webcam, and you pay that way. And actually, Level Up has some pretty good APIs. So
That's kind of neat. So it's kind of like, oh, I have the thing of mustard, and there's a QR code. I want to buy it. Now I buy it.
No. It's more like if you want to buy.
That's actually an interesting idea, but.
Okay, so
I think what he's trying to go at is.
Although, how on earth would you
Have the mustard
or get
if he wants to reorder it, maybe. But,
I mean, it's a very cool idea.
I want another mustard.
I want another one. Yeah. Sorry, I don't understand your idea.
So I think it's like where normally you would start typing in your credit card number, you just put your phone up to the webcam.
And the advantage of it is Level Up doesn't charge a transaction fee, and we can sort of leverage their system. So that's one advantage.
Nice.
And secondly, it's a single-use credit card number, so it's virtually unbreakable. You'd have a very, very difficult time breaching the security. And also, this website, who the person you may or may not know anything about, and maybe you don't want to give this person who could be in, let's say Romania as an example, because they seem to have very strong financial laws. So, like, maybe you don't want to give that guy your credit card number, but instead you give them that. Although PayPal does that to an extent already.
The way Level Up functions though is more like a debit card. So how would you ensure that process has fraud protection?
They put out an API and an SDK, so we're basically just tapping into their system. We're not worrying about that.
Okay. So Level Up has their own systems for fraud protection and all
that's kind of the beauty of it. We just have to make a JavaScript application.
How are you going to sell that?
We're selling it to individual websites.
Okay.
At present, eventually we might, and I think we're going to go for a subscription model, or maybe we'll charge a certain percentage of your business.
So like the way Visa's doing
or something.
is there any way to go enterprise with that?
Yeah, it's designed for enterprise.
No, I mean so enterprise with payments companies that already have relations with a bunch of merchants. So rather than you one by one go out and try to sign up merchants, you sell it to a company like Global Payments, which is a merchant acquirer that already has tens of thousands of relationships, and then you can just sell all into one.
Yeah, that's the eventual plan. We just want to be able to show that, hey, we have this.
You're saying in the pilot phase you're doing the...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's sort of our eventual plan, like we're either going to license it to someone, or maybe a lot of people, or we're just going to try to sell a company.
Do you know if anyone you've talked to is willing to buy something like that? Or what kind of revenue do you, or what kind of
revenue's not the problem for sort of getting people to use this.
Sure.
The problem is adopt, because
right.
we can charge them a set amount of money. It doesn't cost us anything to run because we don't actually have to have servers.
Right.
The problem is, and this isn't even something we necessarily need to make a lot of money off, but kind of the problem is how do you get people to adopt that? And this is actually a very simple idea.
Yeah.
So frankly, anyone who has more than 1 or 2 programmers could do this in a month, if that. So we kind of have had to be very careful about who we're asking, but we have talked to some people kind of in very broad generalizations. If someone could hypothetically build something like this, would that hypothetically be something you're interested in?
It seems like your ideas are always very
hypothetical?
Very hypothetically easy
Often
to do.
I do work.
And
Not-
also very
actually not
challenging
always.
legally.
There's no legal problems with this.
Or technologically then.
Not
well,
really technologically.
So,
No, you only
Sorry.
hear about the ideas that are easy to implement. I have lots of ideas that are not at all easy to implement, and I wouldn't even bother bringing up.
What did you want to say?
2 questions. One, what do you mean by level up? So I have level up on my phone. I think it's pretty cool. I don't think enough merchants use it in their
Yeah.
stores for it to
yeah.
be too prevalent. But what were you saying with the debit card? It works more like a debit card than a credit card?
Or you put in money.
Yeah, you put in money and then it kind of charges. It's like a charge card almost. So like with
Mine
the
is
credit,
linked to my credit card.
is it?
You
Yeah.
can do that, actually.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So, but it's not illegal.
Cause I was good, like, I don't know how level up works. I don't know how level up makes money either. I mean,
No one.
Yeah, I was just supposed to
understands
ask, but I didn't want to extend
it's
this.
Google, and I mean Google's the best.
Do merchants pay for it to have it?
No, I think like their business model is that they have some kind of subscription, like you can basically use the data that they gather, and they sell
Yeah.
that. Frankly, they should just be
Google
going
loves
charging.
coming up with all kinds
Google
of crazy revenue models.
incentivizes, well, I know Level Up does incentivize, like, there's a loyalty-based, you know,
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so it's a
solving
loyalty
that.
program. Gotcha.
there is in the loyalty program aspect, it's not as big as like, a company that was purely for loyalty. But, so, Max,
Yes.
your idea is like,
Actually,
level up, like, for online, for like people to use at their homes by the webcam, right?
Or so, like, yeah, the example is, so you have it on your phone, so
Yeah.
you log onto a website, it's like, oh, I wanna pay this way, so you click on the button, the webcam clicks up, and you take out your phone, pull up Level Up, and you scan it.
Yeah, I like it, it's easier
It's
than
excellent.
PayPal,
I
for
love
buying.
not being able to type in my
Yeah.
5,000 digit
I
credit
mean,
card.
What if you've already got your credit card saved in on most sites? Like, you know how people
Yeah, I
sometimes
know.
transact at the same places all the
The
time?
advantage of this is that it's significantly more secure,
Okay.
because, like, frankly, credit card numbers are really easy to steal. Because people
Do
are
you
idiots.
think that the most average consumer, and maybe merchants really care, I don't know, I haven't done the
No,
research.
merchants really care about
Okay.
this.
It's the consumer who
Have you
just
talked
is
to
like
them?
whatever, but the merchant
Sure,
says
yeah,
that.
Well, yeah,
Merchant
merchant wants like
merchants.
to reach and that's it, like they're done.
Yeah.
There goes it.
Yeah,
So, my question was,
no, but merchants absolutely care.
so if it's like, I'm wondering like, if PayPal sees like Level Up, why wouldn't they have tried incorporating this into their?
Or why couldn't Level Up just do it?
Well, the plan is to get a patent and sue them if they try that. We'll see how well that works, but again, this is just an
Better
idea to
hustle.
get in. Yeah, we're working on it.
I'm just
Actually,
curious why.
anyone-
I feel like your revenue model is suing people, dude.
yeah.
Even your last one was.
I'm just curious how, like, if it's such an easy idea and everything, like, why PayPal couldn't have used?
I have absolutely no idea.
This is a great like way to get like your name out there.
No, like that's
Yeah.
actually.
Like this is not like you're this is a great way to like invest in like your exposure.
No, like that's actually kind of the plan. We're not gonna do this.
Right.
Like to make a huge amount of money, although it would be,
Hey,
I think we could make some.
Are you
but-
sure that this has not been done and patented or whatever?
We searched the patents, there are no patents on it, and we made sure we did it correctly this time.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's.
What have you
been
learned
done
about patent
before,
searching from last time? I'm just curious.
Don't have a third party do it who doesn't understand the idea.
Okay, gotcha.
That seems to be the best advice I can give anyone if you're ever doing something
Don't
like
have it in
this.
common with that.
Yeah.
No, he's actually he just didn't understand the idea at all, so.
ATDC has a lot of good guidance on patent and IP stuff. I'm sure you're probably aware of the materials.
I
yeah.
mean, that's not so much, like, I have a guy who's friends with my parents who helped me out on it,
Yeah.
but he also didn't quite get the idea, so it didn't show up when we searched for it. But also, I mean, this is such a, like, frankly, mobile payments is a very new field, so I think that's probably the reason nothing else like this exists yet.
It's also a very difficult one. So, I used to work in payments, used to work at Home Depot, the whole adoption thing.
Yeah, they
It's
adopted
not
PayPal.
enough stores, then consumers don't want it, consumers get it, the stores don't know which one to go with, because the cost to outfit, like if you're talking about a large retail outlet like a Home Depot, something that has a large national
But then,
footprint.
this is why this is such an interesting idea, because there's essentially no cost to merchants who adopt it, so you can use whatever on earth you like.
Yeah.
And also, this can be very easily modified to work with anything, but So that's one idea. The second idea, which is more interesting, was actually what was talking to Stevie about, is that we're working on a system with mobile wallets that can kind of intercept a payment and use a gift card to do it. And it's kind of
So it's like before you pay, it's like, wait, you have a gift card.
well,
Like
yeah.
an online wallet, and then like you just like the gift card just go into
That
your
that might
online wallet.
actually be a good first step, but what we're kind of doing is, so it's modeled to buy gift cards, like online, and we'll pay people 97% of face value. Because I think that's what we calculated to get a lot of people to do it.
Meaning if
Can you-
the gift cards were $25 and
We'll pay you like 24
$23
or 24.90 or something.
Gotcha.
So you get, so basically reverse gift cards.
Kind of, but we don't tell the people on Google Wallet that we're using it. So we basically intercept the money that they're sending to the merchant and take it, and then we replace that with the gift card. But the reason
So you're
that's
scamming them?
no, it doesn't hurt anything. Well, it's maybe the merchant, but and you can also use this to generate float. Although that's actually maybe a little more dicey, so we'll wait to do that.
Do you have a payments expert or someone who's very knowledgeable about payments help you
We're
with this?
trying to recruit someone that's. They're kind of very much in demand right now.
Yeah, I would definitely, whether it's at one of the big firms, like, I mean, you know Atlanta's a payments hub, so there's tons of people to pull from. So if you can get in touch with a GT alum that works for one of these payment companies, I think that's probably your best bet to start testing. Because spending time in that world and doing M&A there, I learned how complex that business actually really is. So, like, having a product expert help you vet some of the ideas before you spend all this time on something that literally just won't get through the whole Visa, MasterCard BS is probably a very good investment. And a person who knows this cold, so he can tell you right now, that Visa, MasterCard thing is,
They're
yeah.
I might know someone from NCR who could be able to give you some advice.
No, like I kind of know people in that, but actually someone I could really talk to would be better because it's kind of like playing email tag with this person isn't very effective.
Yeah.
But like the first idea is something that we're going to be able to pretty quickly.
Alright, so we gotta move on.
Yeah.
So Sean, you are
Last 2 weeks,
but
go.
not least.
Yeah, okay. So our idea is like a new take on corporate training, repetition-based sort of. For our first, it's not really an MVP, but it's just like our first project. Because we talked to Rafael and Dina, who's our mentor. He works at Bard Medical in the biomedical engineering division, and so he showed us when we met with him all these procedures that they have to go through. They have all these, they have 300 PDFs that if they like want to know how to do something, they have to go find the one they're looking for, or find someone who knows how to do it. And so they're completely overhauling their their procedures, but not the way they disseminate it or anything like that. So
Redrawing the PDFs basically.
Right, exactly. And so he has to teach everyone like the new PDFs. And he's the boss basically, or one of the bosses.
Yeah.
He was like, even when I get a new procedure, I'll open it, I'll skim through it, I don't really receive anything from it, I don't normally absorb any information. So what he wants us to do is, sort of develop. So he has to teach a specific subset or whatever next month, end of next month, and he wants us to develop his training by then and see if it works better than.
Excellent, so you've got an opportunity right there.
Right.
So do you guys have any floating ideas, or do you already have one, or?
So what we're doing right now is we're going to develop like a flow chart that's interactive, sort of, so it what stage of the process you're at for creating a product, and under that, what you're looking for. So if you have like an interactive flow chart, then you can find the procedures
that are relevant to you.
Right, and so having to, mine through 300 PDFs.
How do they do it right now?
Like that.
They literally just like giant scroll bar.
Yeah, they throw.
Yeah.
So what they do is they'll throw a PDF. They have this like $10,000 a month or something system, and they'll put and when they put a new PDF thing on there, then they'll say you need to be trained on this. They'll send it to everyone who's relevant to. Then they'll open it, and then they have to sign and say that they were trained on it, even though they just open up the PDF and scan it.
So how Kimberly Clark does it? I'm pretty sure it's quite similar to Bard.
Yeah, actually, he was meeting with someone right after us who was from Kimberly Clark, and she
Tracy?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, how Kimberly-Clark does it is this ridiculous e-learning software. It's the joke of the software. Basically, you go on there, you take quizzes, you take it, or you
It's all
read
being
through some
recorded.
shit, and then you. Oh. Hey. So you go
Our
through.
kids watching, it's just a.
That's cool. Oh, whoops. So at the end of it, you take a quiz, and then you just go through essentially what you just learned, right? But at the end of the quiz, you could literally just pick the answers, and if you got it wrong, you can do it again. So you have a 1 out of 4 chance of getting it right each time. So you just kind of keep going and going, because you can do it question by question. It's not like you do the entire quiz, you get it wrong, you can repeat again. So it's you don't learn anything from it essentially, and then at the end of it, you get like a badge. It's like, oh, I did it, but you don't really know what you have to do, what training you have to go through, and all that, right?
So our initial idea was to do like
Code
CRM,
Academy.
like, yeah, the Code Academy for like CRM and like really specialized CRM management software, and so for this, that's not really gonna work for like medical procedures.
This one's more organization.
Right. So
Okay.
so our our end game isn't training them on it, but more like
Organizing it.
what they can find it when they need it, basically. So she showed us, he like opened up his little software, and he was like, okay, let me show you the last one I did, and it was hot work, which is working with stuff at excessive temperatures, and so he saw the title, it's hot work, I don't even know what this is. I signed off on it like 3 days ago, I have no idea what it is, I open it, and he's like, oh, it's excessive temperatures. He was like, I'm the one who has to like send this out to everyone, I'm the one who's supposed to know it all, and if someone put a gun to my head and asked me something like what to do in a specific situation, I would have no ideas. So that's sort of our first
Great.
product.
Okay,
That's good.
awesome. It looks like you guys are really interactive with your mentors, so that's a good thing.
So, do you think it gets done for him in a month?
We can get something. I mean, he only has like a specific. So they have like a huge flow chart,
Yeah.
and then like a ton of procedures under each one. So
Right.
he has like a specific section. So we're just gonna do that for him.
Okay.
It shouldn't be extremely difficult. So I don't think.
Okay. As far as like programming and how are you and Eric? Where's Eric, by the way?
Oh, so he lives in LA,
Oh, okay.
and he went home for fall break.
And he's not coming back until.
Yeah, he was like, I don't have any tests or anything to do, so I'm just gonna stay a little week.
Slacker.
Yeah. So he just stayed at home.
Send him my vitriol email.
Okay.
But okay, yeah, that's
Base camp.
or base camp, public embarrassment.
So,
Wait,
yes,
yeah, but hold on. But going off of programming, like what are you guys doing?
Oh, okay.
I'm sure.
So, I didn't know you were.
We
Yeah.
use Bootstrap from Twitter,
Okay.
Okay.
and so we're just sort of doing like.
How are you guys doing it? I'm just curious. Are you guys just kind of learning it by yourself, or
Yeah.
are you getting a mentor or someone to help you out?
No, we're sort of just doing it.
Okay. Cool.
Do you need any resources that we can?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Not. We're just gonna tell you Google.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
Okay. Well.
How did this Wikipedia thing?
So the last thing that we haven't hit so far is how has the Udacity lectures been going for you guys? Has it been helping, or because I know just even if I'm not watching it, even just listening to it like on the way to class, it's already helping me personally. So.
I think he says some interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like actually the customer, or the examples of sort of customer segments are actually very helpful. But like I think you have to go through a lot of it to get out something that's valuable, because he kind of repeats himself a lot.
A lot.
And a lot of the resources sort of all say the same thing. And it's are really like self-explanatory stuff. Like I go on Inc.com or the Forbes blog, and they'll be like 5 ways to make your customers happy, and then like one will be like offer incentives, give out free stuff, like obviously.
Yeah. I mean, the idea was probably to nail it into our heads until we literally had the nails stuck.
Jargon helps too, like being able to understand what actually all that stuff means. Like when you're listening to like someone important talk about their business, like you actually know what they're talking about.
Right.
Instead of just using the context to like kind of maybe work your way through.
Right. So he throws out the buzzwords a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good. At least you, at least you learn the buzzwords, you know, from
Yeah.
the computer, not from. the
Well,
person.
you learn where the buzzwords like kind of came from, right? Where like the base was, like what the actual definition is. So.
And for me, like I so I'll be honest, you know, like full disclosure, the Udacity lectures are usually the last thing I do. Like every week, you know, like if you look at my phone, I have Pulse, and like on the first 3 pages, like all these like startup blogs or how to business review or whatever, and I go through them during class, and take notes at the same time. But you know, but I mean, the point is, I do all this other stuff, and then when I go to the Udacity lectures, it all just kind of like ties in together. And like, you know, I'm not like, it's not like that is, you know, the great piece of, you know, insight. It's more like that's like, okay, if nothing else, Aswin learn this much. And I'm pretty sure if we all put our minds to it, we could learn the this small generation chemist in like 2 days.
Right.
It's not that hard, right? I mean, within a day, I would say. But it's more like we just want to get through to make sure that you guys know it and know what to do.
And you can even tell since like from the repetitiveness, right? Execution is everything. So that's why he says like get out of the building about 8 times every lecture.
Every
right?
homework he gives is always talk to 10 people, get out of the building now.
Yeah, because he knows like you're not actually gonna get anything out of the class if you sit there and watch
Yeah.
this. Right? It's
No,
just
but dude, seriously, it's not even a joke because I talked to Keith McGregor and today morning I'm doing this thing called pitch gauntlet every Friday. It's awesome. You guys, why do you guys not do any of these things I tell you
It
guys
is
to do?
7:30 a.m.
I wake up
I'm not doing
I
it.
wake up at 7 every day and haul my ass over to HC.
I like this guy's initiative.
Okay. Exactly. All right, you guys need to do these things. But anyways, that's cool. I know you guys are busy and shit, but anyways, today I was talking to Keith, and he was like, yeah, you know, it's funny because he teaches this thing called I-Core. It's this new thing that's going on at Georgia Tech where they're trying to get
Steve Blank.
He met Steve Blank, right? And he's just like, yeah, no joke. I tell these professors to go talk to 100, 150 people a week.
Yeah,
And so-
Steve Blank teaches Lean Launchpad all over the country.
Yep,
There's
exactly.
a lot of high pro. He's basically teaching professors how to teach entrepreneurship the right way.
Exactly.
Right.
And you know, it's just one of those things where I feel like because he repeats it, it's like, I understand you're not going to get anything out of the lectures until you actually go and just do it, right? And I feel like it works. Anyways, oh yeah, I want to share like a really quick little bit of an interesting experience I had like 2 days ago. So there's this website called 50problems50days.com. Okay, and it's by this award-winning designer. His name is Pete Smart. And I did this thing, and so, huh?
I like him already.
You liked him already?
I
Wait,
like
what?
Pete Smart.
Oh, Pete Smart, you like? Oh yeah, exactly. He's a brilliant guy. But anyways, I put on Twitter. I was like, man, this is awesome. And I liked him. I followed him. And then he was like, thanks for the follow. I'm glad you liked my my tweet. And I'm like, yeah, dude, no problem. And then I was like, wait. I'm gonna ask him a question. It's not every day that some smart guy is able to. I love Choo shit. It's great. Someone who's like that, you know, is able to interact with you. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna ask him a question. I was like, you know, I'm trying to develop my own design thinking abilities. You know, any suggestions? Very broad question. And then he told me, and we exchanged 3 tweets. It's all on the Startup Semester Facebook page. You guys go check it out. I'm gonna say it again, anyways. Okay? 3 tweets. Right? First one. Any suggestions? Right? He said, learn to love people. Have empathy. Right? Because until you have empathy, but it matters, right? Because until you have empathy, you can't understand, you know. But you know. Okay, maybe not for you.
That's why you gotta no. That's why you gotta learn to like.
Right.
I can hire someone for that.
If they don't like you, the person you hire, then that's a
Yeah,
problem.
learn to like the person you hire.
What do you mean? Machiavelli.
extent.
If you must choose being loved or feared, you should choose fear.
Well, who said Machiavelli is authority?
I did.
Who said you should-
Alright.
Alright.
We're moving on.
But yeah, so you know, so first one, empathy. You know, learn to like people, and I think that's important when you're going out and talking to people. It's not you're talking to these customers, but also remember to have some empathy for them. Second question, right? How do you find inspiration, right? So I'm sure you're gonna get stuck. I'm sure you know somewhere along this process you're gonna be like, well, shit, you know, my UX isn't working, or something's not working, and you're like, well, what's gonna happen? And I like his response there too. It's just like let it happen, let it come, relax, don't worry about it.
Stop searching for
Stop
inspiration.
searching for it.
Just love it.
He's like, it was like research intelligently, but don't worry about it. It's, you know, let it come to you. And I would say that that's not, you know, that's not bad. Sometimes it's okay to have a little bit of type B personality, right? And last one, which is probably my favorite, was just, well, what do you think needs to happen? What do you think needs to change for design education, right? What we're doing here at Startup Semester, this is a design education course because we're teaching people how to create something, right? Or we're trying to, or we're in this process, we're all trying to create something, right? And what he said was, there's too much emphasis on tools and not enough on critical thinking. And you know something? That's the crux of everything here, because we're all trying to think critically for the first time outside of class in a really substantial way, or perhaps, you know, even more so than in class, because how many of you guys have had group projects where you just choose, you know, the project that's easy to do and you know you can get an A in because you know you've had some previous exposure, versus this is a class where you can really think and drill and learn something, you know.
You bring up a great point. Was in Chicago for the Starting Block All Fellows Summit 2 weeks ago. And for you guys who don't know, Starting Block is a nonprofit that essentially develops social entrepreneurs, be great leaders. And one of the sessions that we had was at a design firm called Canon Design in Chicago. You guys should look it up when you get a chance. It was individuals from Canon Design and also this other great company called Design for America. Look it up. They had us do some really cool, like, design thinking exercises, tackling problems that we weren't necessarily familiar with, and using principles that they taught us to do so. And like it changed, I want to incorporate like not only into my own business, but also how I teach members of our ecosystem about how to build their business. So the design thinking thing is it, like you're spot on. So two firms, Canon Design in Chicago and Design for America, if you want to get like some other like good resources for design thinking. It's really good. And I'm actually going to speak with one of their professionals in a couple weeks, so she can train me up really quickly, so I can look into working kind of disseminating that. Because I told her, she was like, they had these cool walls inside Canon Design where you just write questions on the wall and someone like answer them. It's really awesome. So she's like, yeah, well, what do you need to know? I said, I need to get trained up in a week or two so I can start teaching everybody I know how to think like this. Because I think it's something that can be really impactful for entrepreneurs. And she's like, yeah, I'll train you up really quickly. I'll show you some resources and we'll get you going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just think here's my thought. You know, I think world-class entrepreneurs tend to also be world-class problem solvers, right? And that's just because they're able to have the empathy to understand the problem, and they're able to think critically. They're not worrying about the tools. They're not worrying about the trinkets, right? They're thinking about the problem. They're thinking about. They're really thinking, and I think, and I just want to take like one moment, because, you know, every time that I meet with you guys on Friday, I'm inspired by you guys, because I'm like, this is the 10 little, you know, or whatever, not even 10. Is it 10? Oh, whatever. Okay. This is the little cohort at Georgia Tech, where people are coming together, and we're thinking about solving a real problem that we're all passionate about, you know, and that matters. I think that's something to foster, and it's something to appreciate. And I just, you know, I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow at Hypotenuse for coming by, and I think that's about it, right?
That wraps it up.
Yeah.
Question. So you were talking about Steve Blank earlier.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, in the Lean Startup, Eric Ries, like he's supposed to be his pupil.
Yeah.
But in the book, he never mentioned Steve Blank or Four Steps to Epiphany once.
Is Lean Startup after?
Yeah, I think you wrote the book.
This was written after Four Steps to Epiphany.
Really?
Four Steps to Epiphany was like, I checked, like 2007 or.
Yeah, Four
four.
is super old.
So what I suspect here, so the Lean Startup is not quite business model generation, but there are some aspects that are borrowed from, because Steve Blank's like, go talk, right? And it's like, and the reason to talk is for rapid iteration of your business model. But Lean Startup is more like rapid iteration of your, it's agile development, right? So maybe that's kind of a borrowed thing. I don't know.
Maybe they just had a falling out.
Maybe that's
See, that's what I think, because I don't know. He never mentioned him at all, but he like has Innovator's Dilemma. He has like this whole list of like
other books,
and there's nothing about.
You know what I noticed too? Eric Ries had recently had a conference in San Fran, I believe. I signed up for their mailing list even though I couldn't afford the $99 price tag. But
It's a business.
yeah, it's a business. So you know, I never once mentioned Steve Blank at all in any of the mailing, in any of the
We might be
newsletters.
on
They're competing. They're competing.
Yeah.
See, Steve Blank said, you know.
Exactly, they're competing businesses.
Yeah.
You know, Steve Blank is the business, right? He's running around doing his thing, but he's the product.
No, I think Steve Blank benefits from saying that Eric Ries, that he taught Eric Ries, because
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah,
don't read the Lean Startup, because I am the sensei.
That's what I'm saying,
That's
but also,
funny.
yeah.
That's funny though.
Yeah,
Interesting
It kind
dynamics.
of reminds me of like motivational speakers or something.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, I mean, it's just a business model. It's like,
Yeah.
there's basically this person who people view as kind of, well, I'm not trying to say messiah, but someone who understands this very, very well and they sell, or who understands life or whatever very well and they sell an expertise. But I think it's a similar business model. I think it also has, by virtue of that, very similar problems. Because I think many people pass themselves off as experts when in fact they may not necessarily be in all aspects of certain things.
They might just have really good opinions.
So, Aaron, you wanna
You can learn something from almost everyone, but
Yeah, that's a great point because I mean the best ideas come from anywhere, and I've definitely learned that when building legacy schools. That's really good advice. But I just want to say thanks to you guys. Really insightful for me to sit around here and learn about what was it, cryptic algorithms, Bitcoin. Like I love hearing about stuff I don't know about because it expands my thinking and allows me to actually serve my users and founders that much better. I love to see kind of young kids just going after it. Doesn't matter how big the group is. It matters that you just got people that get it. They're just going after it. So I think that's great. And I'm glad we're able to do a workshop like this and actually document it because this serves as a model and case study not only for other schools in Atlanta, but also for other schools around the country who may not have thought of just kind of getting their own group together and just kind of teaching themselves and working with local entrepreneurs to get feedback, guidance, advice, and mentorship. Like that's what smart entrepreneurs do. And the fact that you guys get it in college is like awesome. And so this is the type of stuff we want to document and like expose the rest of the country to. So literally it's just watch, rinse, repeat. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. I hope that I said something that was helpful. And
Thank you so much.
my contact information and business cards are on the table over there. I also got some T-shirts for you guys. If you guys want to take them, this T-shirts I just came up with, Entrepreneur Inspired. And actually, we may develop like an actual entrepreneur-inspired clothing line based on this because I get a lot of positive feedback on the shirts. So just FYI, if anybody wants to work on a clothing company, just let me know.
Well, thanks, Aaron, so much.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like Eric actually runs a clothing company.
Does he?
Same thing.
Oh, cool.
He runs an ultimate frisbee clothing company.
That's so niche.